I hear a lot of people say they're glad they went through what they went through. It's brought me to where I am today.
Yeah.
Of course, if I could do things differently, I would, because, I destroyed my family for many years. I can feel the sadness now inside
Yes,
my
yes, I
voice.
can feel it from
And
here.
and what I done to myself, Adrian, I was taking so many drugs. I just didn't want to be here anymore.
Mm,
I
mm,
weren't going to take the easy way out, and I just think I was taking so many drugs that hopefully it would kill me in the end.
mm,
That's the reality of it.
mm.
If you go to my doctors in the early 90s, I was already signed off as depression and anxiety, and I was so ill. But yeah, like you say, I was just couldn't live in my mind, and that
Mm.
started before I took the drugs. If I'm honest,
Yeah,
at school,
absolutely. That's
at
what led you
school,
to the drugs in the first place.
yeah, at school, my anxiety was really, really bad. I was, I wasn't stupid. I've always been very lazy. I'm not going to lie. Like, I was never pushed. I'm not blaming anyone for that. I take responsibility, but I'd always be frightened in class. That teacher picking on me, like, Nicky, what's the, and normally I'd know the answer to things, but I'd always get stage fright. And I think I got that a lot when I was in large groups. So
Mm,
obviously, when I started going out drinking and things like that, it was too much for me. I'm
mm.
very sensitive to noises, sounds, and just in general, I feed off other people's what's going on around me. So no wonder I used to drink and take a lot of drugs. It used to block it out, I guess. But as you know, the fun runs out in the end.
Yes. Hello, Nick.
Hello,
How you doing, mate?
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
brilliant. Hold up. I'm in my office.
I like it. You're working today.
Ah, Adrian, it's been a nightmare. I don't know if you know, but the in my industry, they've been on strike for months.
Oh, have they? Okay.
Yeah, so the writers were on strike for over. Hold up, let's sort this out. For over 5 months.
Right.
They've finally gone back 6 weeks ago, and
Yeah.
then the actors decided to go on strike as well.
Yeah.
So they were on strike for just over 4 months. They've just made a deal with the studios, but I don't know when they're going to be going back to work.
Uh,
So it's been quite nice. I've been at home for 4 months.
yeah.
Enjoyed the summer holidays with the kids and my mum. We've got
Yeah.
a caravan, so but thousands are coming out the bank every week, so it's kind
Yeah.
of like,
Yeah.
or every month. So
Yeah.
I'm doing a bit of corporate work. That's why I'm in a suit. You might
Oh,
be
okay.
able
Yeah.
to
Very
see.
smart.
So I'm in and out of London, but it's just a lot of driving and things like that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to get back to working.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely. Oh, dear.
yes.
See, these strikes don't affect me because I don't watch television.
Oh, God. Oh, it's been a nightmare, absolute nightmare. But there you go.
We are surviving the madness.
I am surviving. To be fair, Aid, with my practice and things like that, I probably don't do myself enough justice, really. I'm so hard on myself, but I've been coping pretty well, really.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
when the kids went back to school and, you're sitting at home and it's like, oh, I really need to start doing something, because there was talk that we weren't going to be going back to work till next year, and that's probably going to be the case. So it was a case of just, phoning a few chauffeuring people and just seeing if I could get some work. Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I've found a platform where you log on, you go on an app, you log on, and all jobs come up, and you've got to be quick to get to them,
Yeah.
before the
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
drivers.
Sure. Sure.
Not a
It's,
nice way of living, but it's you can earn some good money, and it starts paying off. I'm on my second credit card. It's like
oh dear, no,
I've never I've never lived like that in my life.
no, none of it. But it seems to be designed to make you live like that, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah,
Uh, the stress is all part of the.
yeah,
It's all part of it, really. Everything is designed to cause as much stress as possible, I think. But there you
yeah.
go.
Well, it's good to have systems, isn't it? But when they're designed to fail, it's
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, maybe time to come out of them. But at the moment, it's for me, it's not the right time. But
No, absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. So you're spreading a bit of light with your chauffeuring, are you?
yeah. It's always interesting because you never know who's going to get in the car, what sort of mood they're in, you know. And it's like I picked two ladies up yesterday. They'd booked me for 4 hours.
Yeah.
So I turned up at the Mayfair Hotel, and they were two American ladies come out. They must have been in late 50s, early 60s, and they got in the car, and straight away they was like, how's your knowledge? Is it as good as a black taxi driver? And I was like, straight away inside, I'm thinking, oh, God.
Something came up, did it?
Something come up straight away, yeah. And I'm thinking, I felt like saying, well, if it was, I'd be a black taxi driver, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
But I just thought, okay, be polite. There's just a question at the end of the day. But I felt a little bit of a frustration come up, and I said, right, what have you got for me? She went, oh, we need to go to several locations. Okay, I said, you know, I'll do my best. You know, I've got my GPS. Go to the first one. I'll take you to the first one, the nearest one. And then while you're in there, I'll work out the best, you know, the best ones to go to next.
Yeah.
Because they had about 7 or 8 locations to go to. They was all in and around like Whitehall, Soho, the worst places to drive, really. But we got there, and at the end, they got out. They went, oh, thank you very much. And I thought, oh, okay, I'm glad I bit my tongue.
Well, yeah, it's mindfulness in action, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think, I suspect driving in London and the kind of work you do is the ultimate test of mindfulness, really.
Oh, you know what, Adrian? When I started in 2015, I started with Uber. I don't know if you remember. That's when I've done my first retreat, actually. And I thought, I'm not one who's got much patience, and I'm quite confrontational. I thought, I'm probably not a good idea to do this, but it taught me very quickly that, you know, there's no point in me getting angry. I've heard you say it before. You can get angry with the traffic, or you can accept it. And, you know, that taught me a lot. And people getting in and out of the car. I remember a husband and wife going in there. You could tell they'd had a big row, you know, and they was kind of taking it out on me. And I thought, you know, just bite your tongue, just be polite. She got out and slammed my car door, and I felt like, you know, getting out and chasing her. But I thought, you know, these are lessons that I need.
Yes.
You know, unfortunately, it's not a personal thing. It's just they've had a row. They're taking it out on me. Not very nice, but, you know, and I guess it's helped me actually mature in a lot of ways as well, because, you know, I can't be driving around angry all day, arguing with people. It's just
it's not a great way to live.
It's not a good look, is it? The amount of times I've had to pull over in them days, because I just started my mindfulness retreats, and just turn the engine off and shut my eyes.
Yeah.
And that's when I had a really beautiful experience, and the same one that I think you had, where you talk about the rain coming down, and you sitting in London somewhere, and there was a tramp there drinking out of a bottle, and you said, I noticed that me and him weren't having the same experience. Well, I just had that experience where it was absolutely tipping down the rain, and it was putting on a show for me. It was just like I was just so present, and it was just a beautiful experience. And you know, and until you've experienced it, you know, I think people probably think you're mad. But
you know, people thought I'm mad for years. Yeah. It's catching on, isn't it?
Yeah, it was beautiful though. It was just so nice that it was. Oh, I don't know, can't explain it. Just it was a lovely experience.
Yeah, it's when you step out of the story.
Yeah,
where you can make yourself very, very present and see the world without the filter of your story or the judging or even the labeling. There's something magic happens. Something comes through, doesn't it? You know, and even in something like rain, you know, there's a miracle there if you've got the eyes to see.
Yeah.
Or it's a miserable day.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
Miserable mind, as you say. But yeah. But I'm doing okay. To be fair, I'm doing okay, because it's been a tough year. It's been a tough year work-wise. You know, unfortunately, I'm always chasing money because, like most people, I've got kids, I've got bills to pay and things like that. But, you know, in general, I guess I'm coping quite well in a way. I stopped chasing. You know, at the beginning, you always used to say to me, Nicky, you're trying too hard. You're trying too hard. I was reading all the books I could read and, you know, listening to all the videos. And I was just getting worse in a way. It was confusing me because I was taking in so much information and beliefs of other people. It was like, But I guess you go through that at the beginning, didn't you?
I
You
think, yeah, I
kind
think
of,
it's a natural part of the
yeah,
process. You know, I mean, I hardly read anything at all now.
yeah,
I, I used to do a lot of reading.
yeah,
Uh, some of it was helpful, some of it wasn't, and I think
yeah,
the state of being of the author is really what's really important. Really
yeah.
important. I'm listening to A New Earth, Eckhart Tolle.
Okay,
Back
I've read that. Yeah,
Yeah, I read it about when it
yeah,
first came out. I don't know, that 15 years ago, something
right,
like that.
yeah.
But it's on Spotify on one of
Okay.
their books, and I've been listening to it, and it's a different book to what I read 15 years ago.
Hmm.
It's completely different, and I think it's more applicable now than it's ever been.
Right.
But what's really powerful about it is, of course, the author. You know, you just read a few words from that, or hear a few words from that, and the stillness from where it was created speaks to you. It
Hmm.
touches you. I mean, you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah. Somebody bought me like Thich Nhat Hanh, was a wonderful teacher, and a great fan really when he was alive. And he's somebody bought one of his books for me last Christmas. And literally every paragraph is poetry. You know, it calls to you, it speaks to you on another level, I still haven't finished this book because every time I pick it up and I read a paragraph, I just have to put it down and digest it. It's the kind of book you never finish, isn't it? But then I
Yeah.
suppose it's the kind of book you never want to
Yeah.
finish.
Yeah.
So some of that
Yeah.
learning's helpful, some of it's a distraction.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. And I think what I probably used to do as well was try and digest it all so much with this hope that it's going to cure something that's restless inside. Because I'm not going to lie. I've been on a lot of retreats now, and I've been doing this for about 8 years. But that restlessness is still there. You know, my crazy head is still there. But I guess I do manage it a lot better than what.
And I don't think the restlessness in itself is a problem.
Mm,
No, it's one of the reasons that I enjoy working with addicts so much,
mm,
because I think at the core of addictive behaviors is that restlessness,
yeah,
and to me that's actually our evolutionary drive. Consciousness wants you to create, wants you to express, it wants you to evolve, and that restlessness is that drive.
yeah,
The challenge is to be still with it
mm,
and not make you restless or drag you off into all sorts of unhelpful avenues.
yeah,
And I think that's very often the case with addiction. It takes people down some pretty dark alleys. But if you can be present with that excitement, with that restlessness, that's your evolutionary drive, Nick. And
mm,
that is consciousness rising through you.
yeah. Well,
It's,
thankfully, that restlessness doesn't drive me into a pub anymore, and
no,
I'm so confident that that has gone from me. Unfortunately, I pick up my phone too quick, or I eat something that I shouldn't, and things like that. It's better than them old habits, And
mm.
wow, that
full,
got too much.
full sainthood might be a little way away just
Yeah,
yet, but
yeah,
it's not, we're not looking to get anywhere.
no, of
And the voice judging you is the one that's taking you away.
course.
That's all part of the madness.
Yeah,
I think that we talk about that need to read and understand. I think that's very common when people start because the ego is still quite dominant,
yeah,
and the ego will seek to grasp and to put your realization into an intellectual box and own it.
mm,
So there is that tendency.
yeah.
But, but you've been doing this a while now, haven't you?
2015 was my first retreat, November. I
I mean,
remember turning up into Suffolk because I was in the fellowship then, and what brought me to you really was the 11th step 11,
yes,
which is like sought through prayer and meditation to improve your conscious contact with God or something like that.
absolutely.
And I remember going home and just meditating at home. I sat downstairs and put like a body scan meditation, And I'd done it for about 10 minutes. I just remember thinking, I used to pay a lot of money to feel like this, you know, I was just laughing and smiling, and there was like an internal, wow, this is incredible. And then straight away I'm on my phone Googling things, you know, and it's like,
Yeah.
and I found your, you know, Love Life Live Now. And I thought, wow, I'm not doing
Yeah.
that. Don't love life that much at the moment. And I'm certainly not living. So yeah, it struck a chord in me. And yeah, I'm glad I turned up that day. I was so nervous. I remember turning up and meditating for about 10 minutes. And I remember you was outside because it was quite cold, obviously being November, and you was obviously doing the fire. Didn't realise at the time you was the owner. You come over and said hello. And obviously I went in and met all the others. There was a lot of addicts on there that week, which
Mm.
really helped me. And I remembered a couple of them from the meeting. So it was a real, yeah, great retreat. I mean, they've all been great retreats for me. So I keep
Mm.
coming back.
You've done a few now, haven't you?
I think, yeah, I know. I say I stopped counting, but I'm sure I've done 11. Yeah,
Talk about repeat offenders. You're a
yeah,
serial repeat offender. You're beyond
yeah,
redemption now, I
yeah. I could do one.
think.
I could do one every month. I really could. They're just, I used to just come away sort of in a bubble, you know, and for at least a couple of weeks, it was nothing could touch me.
Mm.
That's why I probably kept coming back because, you know, life comes back in, doesn't it? And then I think I need another retreat.
That is why
Yeah,
people come back. Yeah,
yeah,
it's actually when you go back into your life and the shadow returns and the challenges appear. That's really when you do your learning. Yeah,
yeah.
but it is helpful to just kind of just anchor yourself back in presence for a couple of
Oh,
days.
definitely. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, yeah. But I met some good people. There's, you know, there's the people that go, people that have always been involved running it, and you know, the people you meet. You know, you just connect, don't you? You know, you're on the same energy. I can't go out anymore. I don't, you know, don't go in pubs. Not because I don't really drink, but just avoid them sort of people. Really, I'm quite a loner now, but in a way that I quite enjoy it. You know, I'm not lonely and sad. I enjoy my own company. It's you know, I've got a family. Don't need to hang about with the people I used to hang about. I connect with some of the people that I've met in the retreats. It's nice.
And your partner practices too, doesn't she?
Yeah, she came, didn't she?
Yeah, she's been a couple now, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's really ill at the
Uh,
moment, actually.
oh, bless her. Oh, give her my regards.
Yeah, so yeah, she wants to come together and do one. So yeah, I mean, whether she needs it as much as me, I don't know. But you know, she kept going on. She needed something, so I said, right, go on a retreat.
It's nice when you both practice, you know,
Definitely.
because it affects the kids, it affects
Yeah,
the whole energy of your home and your
yeah,
environment, and so that becomes a sanctuary too.
yeah,
But that experience you're describing of, you know, finding it difficult to be around certain people, I think is very, very common.
yeah,
If you're not doing your own head drama, then it's really quite hard to get caught up in other people's, isn't it?
yeah,
And unfortunately, head drama is where a lot of people live. And if you're not engaging with it, they think you don't care or you're not taking it serious. You do care, but only about things that are real. So,
yeah, exactly.
but there is the other effect. I think you're mentioning about the retreats, and I know you're still in contact with quite a few people from retreats over the years. That there's an attraction. You start to draw people to you that are of a sort of similar energy.
Hmm.
We don't tend to get people at the beginning of their journey anymore. They think they're the beginning of their journey,
Yeah.
and they may think that they are complete beginners, but they're not. You know, when they read the website or whatever, that they connected with something. Something spoke to them, and that is this vibrational connection, and that's what draws people.
Mm.
So it's quite a little nucleus, really. It's rather nice, and there's some lovely friendships, long-term friendships built out of that, isn't there? And connections. You're on the Telegram group, aren't you? Do
Yeah, I'm on there. I must admit, I don't put a lot on there myself, but I used to. I mean,
Mm,
I'm not quite at the beginning of my journey. I like always read
yeah,
what's going on and things
yeah.
like that. But yeah, sometimes I can read and then, you know, feel like I want to put something on, but I just let them share. But,
Yeah, I think that's very much like that. There's not a lot of chat on there, is there? But
no,
what there is really really helpful.
yeah,
I
of
think
course.
because there's no egos there, is there?
Yeah.
Which is like something else you kind of pointed to on these retreats. You don't know what anybody does for a living, do you? Or what kind of car they
Mm,
drive, or how big their house is, or how much money they earn. Nobody knows, do they?
no,
Because nobody cares.
no. No, I think sometimes when you find out too much about people, you know, judgments can come in and things like that. And like you say, it's you're getting to know them from now. You don't need to know about their past unless they want to open up and share them. Fine, but yeah,
That's
yeah.
like,
Have you got more? Have you got more retreats this year still? Or
oh yeah, when we're doing one a month during the winter,
yeah.
we got the advanced one December,
Hmm.
um, uh, January, February, and another advanced one in March.
Yeah.
Um, but things are afoot on the retreats. Things are happening. We might. I don't do future, but there is a possibility we might have some news tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Um, things things are developing.
Okay.
Don't want to get too excited about something that hasn't happened yet, because
No, I won't. I won't ask for it.
that's never a wise idea, is it?
I'll wait for the news.
I'll enjoy the excitement now.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So would you say there's been sort of biggest change in you over that since 2015 when you started this process?
I think really, I wouldn't say it saved my life, but what's helped me do is manage manage my life better, manage my thoughts, my feelings. You know what comes up, and you know, like I said, I was very confrontational person, especially with my mum, with me and my mum. When you talk about your mum, she's my mum as well. You know, she's that person. Oh, the little brats are here, and you know, she's like that. We could never be in a room together without arguing. You know, I mean, I
Mm,
put them through a lot of, you know, I put them through a lot. I
yeah,
really did. You know, but I think just learning to bite my tongue a lot more. You know, and go back and say it when I need to calmly,
yeah,
or and
yeah.
just things like that. Just managing. You know, I'm someone that gets frustrated quite quickly and got a lot of anger and sadness inside me, and just noticing that really and
Mm,
being with it a lot of the time. You
mm,
know, I used to do a lot of meditation because I needed it at the time. You know, I used to sit there for sometimes half an hour, 45 minutes every night. My
mm,
head would be going crazy, you
mm.
know, telling me I've got to do this and do that. But I'd done that for about 7 months and it helped me so much. Felt so peaceful.
Mm.
There was a lot of peace inside me. And yeah, at the moment, I'm not doing that. But yeah, I think really it's just to have tools to learn to help me deal with my restlessness at times. You know, I'm someone that suffers with severe anxiety.
Mm,
Bouts of depression is not nowhere near as bad as it was, but you know, I do get them days like we all do,
mm,
where sometimes it takes me a little bit to get over, and
mm,
you know, I can go and meditate or breath work. I'm into breath work. Go for a run. You know, anything but you know, have a drink
mm,
or anything I used to do because I was bad AIDS. I was so
mm,
bad. I mean, I moved to Italy at 29. I was broken. I was lost everything, um, and it was time to yeah run away really. But I had family there.
mm.
They call it the geographical in the fellowship.
That's
You know,
right. Running from
obviously
yourself.
I took myself with me, but yeah, and you know I carried on in Italy at the end of the day and ended up in hospital. And my cousin said, "Look, I need to get you into a program." He
Mm,
said, "You're really bad, Nicky." So yeah, okay. So I was in a program for 3 years in Italy. Yeah, it's tough because obviously I'm English. You know, I learned the language, but it was really tough every day. You know, your time was planned out from the minute you got up to the minute you went to bed. You know, very much Jesus and
mm,
you know
mm.
which I struggled with. But at the end of the day, it saved my life and helped me to start rebuilding my life. You know, but yeah,
So it was step 11 that brought you to the project.
step 11 brought me to the fellowship. Yeah, Thankfully, I'd already surrendered step one.
Yeah, I kept falling off step one, but that's probably the most important one, isn't
Yeah, I fell off
it?
many times. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, but step
Yeah.
11 brought me. It was, and then I think I realised there that all this money I'm spending externally to fix myself, I
Mm,
can just shut my eyes and
mm, mm,
go within.
mm, mm,
Don't
mm,
cost nothing,
mm.
you know. And
And
yeah,
achieves what you were trying to do with the drugs.
yeah,
It
yeah,
work. It actually works
yeah,
because that addiction, I think it is. So that energy, it's a quest for realization. Why do we take mind-altering substances? Well, to alter our state of mind, of course.
yeah,
And why wouldn't you choose to do that? If your
yeah,
mind is an intolerable place to live, then altering that state of mind is the only option you have.
yeah.
And I think you're safe, like you said, meditation offers you a way of doing that without chemical assistance
Mm-hmm.
and actually brings you what you were looking for all along. Not that it's an
Yeah.
easy route, is it?
No.
And where would be the fun in that if it was?
Yeah. I hear a lot of people say they're glad they went through what they went through. It's brought me to where I am today.
Yeah.
Of course, if I could do things differently, I would, because I destroyed my family for many years. You know, I can feel the sadness now inside
Yes,
my
yes, I
voice,
can feel it from
and
here.
and what I done to myself, Adrian. I was taking so many drugs. I just didn't want to be here anymore.
Mm,
I
mm,
weren't going to take the easy way out, and I just think I was taking so many drugs that hopefully it would kill me in the end.
mm,
That's the reality of it.
mm,
If you go to my doctors in the early '90s, I was already signed off as depression and anxiety, and I was so ill. Um, but yeah, like you say, I was just couldn't live in my mind, and that
mm.
started before I took the drugs. If I'm honest,
Yeah,
at school,
absolutely. That's
at
what led you
school,
to the drugs in the first place.
yeah, at school, my anxiety was really, really bad. I was, I wasn't stupid. I've always been very lazy. I'm not going to lie. Like, I was never pushed. I'm not blaming anyone for that. I take responsibility, but I'd always be frightened in class. That teacher picking on me, like, Nicky, what's the, and normally I'd know the answer to things, but I'd always get stage fright. And I think I got that a lot when I was in large groups. So
Mm,
obviously, when I started going out drinking and things like that, it was too much for me. I'm
mm,
very sensitive to noises, sounds, and just in general, I feed off other people's what's going on around me. So no wonder I used to drink and take a lot of drugs. It
mm.
it used to block it out, I guess. But as you know, the fun runs out in the end.
Yes, it's a blind alley, really, isn't it?
It
Eventually,
is a
the
blind alley.
the things that
Yeah,
you're doing to make you feel better are
yeah.
causing the pain that you're trying to get away from, and
Well, the thing is,
that's the addict's
you end up
bind.
lying all the time. You're lying to
Mm,
your family. You're making excuses up. You're
mm,
not turning up for work, for football. And the guilt and the shame you carry about
mm.
with you for that is just,
Oh, dear, I can feel it from here.
oh yeah, letting people down all the time. But I show up today. That's the difference as well. What mindfulness helps me do, helps me show up, and just be present. And sometimes you don't want to do things, but you have to,
Yeah.
and
And
you
it's
do.
about
And
managing yourself too,
yeah,
isn't it? With that mindful awareness, being able to observe your thoughts and your
yeah,
feelings, that gives you the space to choose, doesn't it? You could choose to use one of the mindfulness practices that you've got in your armory, rather than resorting to
yeah,
that habitual, programmed, historic
yeah,
behavior. And
yeah,
and if you had that choice, then you'll always make that choice.
yeah.
It's only if you haven't got the awareness are you compelled to keep acting out and repeating these destructive cycles. I think
Mm,
for me, without mindfulness, without awareness, there can be no real change.
yeah,
Otherwise, we're using the madness that created the problem to come up with solutions. And
yeah.
I tried so hard. I tried so hard,
Mm,
but there was no chance, because the thing that was giving me the answers, the very vehicle for which I was reasoning, was the problem.
yeah,
It's only as you get that space to stand back, go, hang on a minute, is that belief true? That belief I've always had, is it actually true?
mm,
Do I have to respond like this? And that space gives you choice.
yeah.
And if you're making the choices rather than your thoughts and emotions making your choices, then things work out much better, don't
Yeah, 100%.
they?
Yeah, but you don't realise at the time that it tricks you, doesn't it? Addiction
Mm,
or the obsessive thinking.
mm,
I remember many times I used to get ready and go out. My mum would be crying, "Please don't go
mm,
out.
mm.
I'm just having one, mum. I'm just having one." 2 days later, I come home and like, "What the fuck happened there?" I'll be crying in front of the mirror sometimes, like, "Please help me. I just don't want to do this anymore." But
uh,
you'd go out and do it. It's
yeah,
like it carried on for years and years. It's like it's
yeah.
madness, isn't it?
Well, it is madness,
It's
but
insanity.
you can't step out of the madness until
No,
you're
until
able
you
to.
know something different.
Absolutely, until you can see
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
All the time you're in the madness, it's all quite logical, isn't it?
yeah. Well, it's fun at the time as well, but
Yeah.
like I say, it only ends up one way. But yeah, I'm so glad I got out of it. God, my sister said to me actually, she said if you didn't go to Italy when you was 29, you
Yeah.
wouldn't be here anymore.
No. No.
You wouldn't be here because in the fellowship you write, there's a lot of steps where you have to go and sort of make amends
Yeah.
with people, and I'm not saying I agree with all of them, but I done it.
Yeah.
And yeah, there were some nice moments with the family, and
Mm.
you know, because you don't realise at the times, or you're putting everyone through it. It's not just you, is it? My
No.
my dear mum, bless her, she wouldn't sleep till I come home, and I wouldn't come
Oh.
home because I knew she'd be there waiting at the stairs for me.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah. Check into your body. Let's process what that's brought out, sure. Because
yeah,
I can feel it from you. Oh, well, nice to have these tools, though, isn't it?
yeah, definitely, yeah,
To observe that happening to you and not be compelled
yeah.
to run with where that takes you.
Well, it's nice not to get caught up in that story now,
Yeah.
because it's easy to do that, isn't it? And then start inventing more stuff because a lot of some of it's true, and a lot of it you're just adding more bullshit on as well, aren't you? Really, you're telling things that they didn't even happen. It's like, yeah, yeah, but
Well, you're looking well, mate. You're looking
yeah, I
well.
feel okay. I
Yeah.
mean, I've been up since 1:45, so I shouldn't be looking well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I had a 4 o'clock pickup this morning.
Yeah.
But Lisa come up to. She's been sleeping on the settee like for a week because she's been so
Oh,
ill.
oh,
So she's been letting me like sleep. But she decided to come up to bed and she's coughing and spluttering all night.
oh,
And
dear.
I thought, oh, I've got to get up now. So I just got up at 1:45, and that's it. Yeah,
Still
I'm going to finish
smiling.
this. I've got 2 more jobs today. I'm going to go home in a minute. I've got one near me. I'm going to go home, have something to eat, have a little couple of hours kit, and then back to work
Mm,
aid
mm, mm,
until
mm.
the film industry starts up again.
Oh, well, never mind.
Yeah,
There's a lot less drama, I expect, when you're not dealing with
yeah,
the film
it's all right. I
industry.
don't mind it though. I don't mind it. I'm my own boss. I
Yeah,
haven't got someone telling me what to do. I'm choosing it. I'm
yeah,
selecting what
yeah,
jobs to take. So
yeah.
yeah,
That freedom is important, isn't it?
it is. It is important. Yeah. I mean, I have these moments where it's kind of like, I need to stop this now, and I should be helping other addicts and things like that. But that's a long, you know,
Actually, you are. You're helping people all of the time.
and maybe I
Yeah,
am. Yeah.
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 When you're present and you're chauffeuring people and you're talking,
Yeah.
engaging them from a place of mindfulness, that is affecting them.
Yeah.
That is affecting.
Yeah.
Even if you're just refusing to engage in their drama, you're
Yeah.
helping.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
remember. I remember a particular lady. I went to Harley Street. This was a couple of years back now, and she got in the car and she broke down crying straight away. It's like kind of knew that she might have
yeah.
either received some good news or bad news or whatever. But so like we got talking a little bit, and then she opened up and like she'd just given the all clear from cancer. So we was both kind of crying. I just she was such a lovely lady. It was her son actually that was with her that gave her the news as well, which
Mm,
was lovely. But I just got talking about mindfulness and the power
mm,
of now, and Eckhart Tolle, and she seemed really interested. And I had the copy of Power of Now in my glove box. So when I dropped her off at I can't remember Hendon Way, I think it was. She said thank you, and I give her the copy of The Power Now. I said, yeah, I'll take this, and she was like, oh, just give me a cuddle and that, and it's like, so you are right. I am, you can help people that way as well.
Have an enormous impact.
Yeah,
Just holding that presence, bringing
yeah,
that calm to the world, that clarity, has an
yeah,
enormous impact.
yeah. I think what I'm learning as well is when to engage and when not to. Whereas when I first was doing the retreats, I just had this thing where I just wanted everyone to have what I was getting. And it's like, and people, I was getting into so many arguments. Like, you're mad. What do you mean there is only now? Of course there's past, of course there's future, but there's not. And I'd have rows with some of the drivers, and they wouldn't talk to me in the end. And I thought, oh, maybe I need to be careful
Cut
who I
down on your
engage with.
evangelism.
Yeah,
People will ask you,
yeah,
you're with the energy that you're holding, you will attract people who want to know. They'll ask you.
yeah. But you know what? When they was in groups, they would take the piss out of me and make fun. But one or two of them drivers would always come up to me and start asking me questions.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, because what it is, it's the group thing, and we're all men together. That sort of thing, that ego thing, act macho. But you always get one or two that are interested.
Yeah, you do.
And every day I will talk with someone in the car about something like mindfulness or breath work or meditation, or you just like you attract them sort of people, don't you, into your life? I guess. Yeah.
So it's actually doing a lot of work in helping people.
Yeah. I'm so hard on myself. I don't give
Yeah,
myself
you got to
enough
stop
credit.
that. That's not really
Yeah.
helpful, is it? Sack
Yeah.
the judge.
So yeah. No, definitely. Yeah.
And
There's a
that
few of
mindful
them.
interaction, it does help people. It raises their awareness. They get some
Yeah.
clarity, and that spreads. They take that with them along after they've left you,
Mm.
and that affects other people.
Yeah, you're planting seeds, aren't you? I guess. Yeah.
And that's our job.
I must admit, I've been on retreats with you where maybe the first two or three I wasn't listening or I wasn't present because I was in my head, and then after the eighth or ninth retreat, it's like, oh, actually, yeah, kind of get what he says. I know you say I don't want you to get it, but something resonates.
Yeah,
because I was ready for it. I guess I was in that.
Well, that's what I'm finding listening to A New Earth.
Right.
15 years on, 15
Yeah.
years after I read it, it's a different book. Well, it's the same book, but there's a different understanding.
Yeah. Because you're probably in a different place as well yourself.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a big shift in me over 15 years. So I'm seeing things that I never saw there before or realized before. And actually, these current times, I don't think it's ever been more appropriate. It was just 15 years ahead of its time, that book.
Yeah.
What advice would you give somebody that's coming to this new?
This was coming to it new?
Yeah.
I guess go in with an open mind. And just practice. For me at the beginning, I needed to practice. I needed to have a lot of quiet time to really sort of get to grips with what was going on, because you'd say things like feel it in your body, feel the emotion in your body, and I could never get that. Whereas now I can, because I get quiet and I've got a bit of an uncomfortable chest. What is that? Is it something I've eaten, or is there a bit of anxiety? Whereas before I'd go in my head too much. So I think really for me would be try and sit and give yourself maybe 10 minutes in the morning before you get up, 10 minutes before you go to bed, before you get out of bed, when your head starts going crazy. Because I used to do that a lot as well, just meditate for 20 minutes and just sit in silence and see what comes up.
I think that's a really useful tip.
Yeah.
I have lots of meditation when you start. I used to do hours and hours. I didn't have any choice.
Yeah.
Because if I got in my head, it would have killed me.
Yeah.
And that can be really helpful to start with. You're going to get a good meditation practice.
Yeah.
Less important as your practice develops, because you spend a lot of your life in meditation, don't you?
Yeah.
You drive in a state of meditation, you eat in a state of meditation, you talk in a state of meditation, you live in a state of meditation. So those formal exercises aren't so important. But to begin with. I think that's a really, really useful tip.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I needed that a lot. And you got to try and cultivate, gratitude and kindness more and things like that, and be of service to others. And they're the things I'm trying to teach my kids. It's not, we want to buy the things our kids the things that we didn't have, but I want to teach them the things that I wasn't taught. I'm not blaming my mum and dad for that, because they can only teach what they knew. But be more grateful, be kinder, help more at home with the family, just. And my kids are doing that a lot. They help make me a cup of tea or make me a bit of toast, or they tell me they love me. I never done that with my mum and dad.
No.
Didn't hear them tell me that. They probably wasn't told it. Sad, really, when you can't tell someone you love them.
Well, you're breaking generational patterns there, aren't you?
Yeah.
Generational patterns. Thich Nhat Hanh used to say that when you're healing your own trauma, when you're overriding your own conditioning, not only are you healing yourself, but you're also healing your ancestors, because that's where a lot of these patterns came from. So as you heal this response in yourself, you're also healing it in your mother.
Yeah.
But you're also healing all future generations, because you're not passing on these patterns. You're passing on a very different way of living.
Yeah.
And that's our role as a parent, really.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree with that. And I can see it with my relationship with my own mum.
Yeah.
Of course, we go back occasionally and have that little tent, because it's always been there. But generally, I can tell her I love her.
Yeah.
She's my mum at the end of the day, and I couldn't tell her. I had so much resentment with her because it was her fault that I was an addict, never telling me she loved me. And, I used to blame everyone. But one thing I can do as well now is take responsibility for what goes on in my life, And like you say, that has an effect on everyone. Yeah.
Lovely. What sides of your mother appear when you let go of your judgments and your resentments? And
yeah,
certainly noticed that with my old mum. So I let go of the resentment and the need for her to be different. There's a whole side to her there that I never knew existed.
Yeah, and I think when you've got a bit of tension with someone, you do tend to always look at the negative sides. But I guess I'm able to do that as well. Mindfulness has helped me, look at the things that they can do, and they do give. No one's perfect, are we?
No, we do the best we can with the awareness we have.
Yeah.
And I think that's important when it comes to yourself too. It's very easy. I know how, particularly with your condition, it does want to criticize you. It does want to judge you and blame you, but you were doing your best with what you had. And you didn't have any choice. And now you have a choice, or more frequently have a choice. And you're exercising that choice. There really isn't anything you can do. There's no mistakes in mindfulness. And if you get something wrong and you behave badly, you put your hands up and you go, I was wrong. I was out of order.
Yeah.
It's only your ego that needs to defend that.
Mm-hmm.
We all screw up, me included. And and sometimes that realization doesn't come in too long afterwards. And then we have to go, I'm sorry. I was out of order. I didn't behave well there. I will watch myself as best I can, and that's all you can do, isn't it?
Yeah.
After all, it's through our mistakes that we learn and grow.
Yeah.
If we refuse to acknowledge them, we get kind of stuck.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that you wanted to explore?
No, not really. Not really. Explore. It's my thing is always that, like I've said, that frustration that builds, that anger, that the judgment, on myself. It's how can I stop being so hard on myself all the time? But it's just noticing it, isn't it?
Yeah. Don't even ask the question. Just notice yourself judging yourself.
Yeah.
I look at your face, Nick, now. right? And what I see is a very calm, peaceful, self-assured man. Right? I mean, you look completely different to the man I met in 2015. It shows you radiate energy there. Powerful.
Thank you.
And that, oh, your ego's not going to like that, is it? Don't listen to him.
Yeah. I don't remember that person in 2015, and I don't suppose I need to look back and remember either.
No, it's funny, isn't it? It's almost like it was someone else.
Yeah.
But ironically, you're more you than you've ever been.
Mm,
And that's really
yeah.
what we're just stripping away everything that we're not.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's been tough as well, isn't it? The last few years for everyone with this madness that's been going on.
What the collective
Oh
psychosis.
God.
I'm not sure it's
Yeah. Well, I'm
finished
on
yet.
yours. I don't talk about it as much as I used to anymore. But I mean,
Yeah.
I agree with, I'm on your side of the fence. But
We're
it's,
on.
yeah.
I'm just on the side of truth.
Yeah.
I'm on the side of truth.
Yeah. And I guess I felt what you felt all along as well. I just, thankfully, I was awake to it, and didn't put my kids through it, and Lisa through it. Really, we was the only ones out of all of us that stayed away from all this nonsense, really. And we've always been pretty healthy, to be fair.
Well, not surprising, is it?
Yeah.
It's interesting though how many of us did see through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean and I think that's mindfulness too. But
Yeah.
I only believe my direct experience. I don't even believe my own beliefs.
Mm,
so so it becomes very difficult to implant beliefs.
yeah.
Because you're questioning all the time, aren't you, with mindfulness?
Mm-hmm.
Questioning your judgments, questioning your perception, questioning your belief. And once you start questioning your own bullshit, the bullshit you're being fed becomes really transparent, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it kind of makes you immune from the mind control. I've been doing a little bit of work on this lately. So preparing for our retreat in December, the first advanced one. I'm gonna really look at this, pulling apart how our perception is manipulated, how our minds are controlled through
Yeah.
information and whatever, and how we form an identity out of that. But what happens when you step out?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when you have freedom.
Mm-hmm.
If you're living in the conditioning, you have no freedom. You're a mind controlled slave.
Yeah.
It's only as you become mindful do you have any free will at all.
Yeah. I guess one thing that I struggle with is, I mean, I'm not a lover of the school system, and I kind of understand how it was all created
Mm,
by the Rothschilds in
mm,
1902 or something.
mm,
But my kids are at school; they need to go to
mm.
school. It's
But
kind of like keeping them.
they do need to go to school, but they don't have to buy into the madness. I mean, I've had the great fortune, particularly my work with cocaine, to work with some very successful people, materially successful people who have made millions
Yeah.
through business, or they've been very successful in music or the arts or media or whatever. But these people have been very successful. And the vast majority of them are outsiders. They didn't make their way up through the system.
Yeah.
In fact, they are successful because the system traps you. The system keeps you locked in system, in slavery. And actually, the really exceptional people in this world are outside of the system. They're not playing the game.
Mm,
And if you know the game's rigged, why the hell would you play?
yeah.
Yes, your kids have got to go to school, and it's useful to learn to read and write. But I'm sure when you get home, you're dissecting the propaganda. This is your duty as a parent.
Yeah. Yeah. This is my not issue, but obviously they come home and tell me things, and I don't want to tell them they're being lied to, obviously,
Well,
because
I
that's
do.
not going to.
I do.
Oh,
I
you
tell them to
do?
be like, yeah. Well, actually, what I say is ask the questions.
Yeah.
You're telling me that we're in a climate crisis and the planet is boiling. Where did that information come from? Why are you telling me that? Who told you that? And just start to ask the questions. And when you
Yeah.
do, you'll find they haven't got any answers.
Mm.
I haven't got the answers because it's clearly bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But by asking the questions, you reveal that, not just to yourself, but you reveal it to the person you're asking the questions of. Well, my 50-year-old son, bless him, has been getting himself in a bit of trouble at school for asking questions. And it seems to me that when he probes and he keeps asking to find out where this came from, they come back with the same answer because that's what it says in the book. Because that's what it says I've got to teach him in my teaching.
Yeah.
And that's as far as their questioning goes.
Yeah.
So
Because
you
they don't
do.
know them. They don't know themselves. The teachers, do they?
No, I was me too. At one point in my life, I was so bought into it that I was an enforcer of it. As a social
Yeah.
worker, I enforced acceptable thoughts
Mm.
and punished unacceptable thoughts.
Yeah.
They were risk indicators.
Yeah.
But it's all coming undone, Nick.
Yeah.
And it's coming undone with every interaction you have, with every bit of mindfulness you bring into the world. Every person that steps into your car, that is raising their awareness through your presence. And that's all we have to do, is raise awareness. Because if people have awareness, they'll see right through the control system. A lot of people are, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
And you haven't got to see it all to say, no, I'm not getting involved in this. I'm not playing this game.
Mm.
And that's starting to happen.
Mm.
But we're being played psychologically here in our heads.
Yeah.
That's what government means.
Yeah.
It's Latin. Ment is mind and govern is to control.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. They have many ways of doing it, don't they?
Oh, yes.
Telly, radio.
Media,
Yeah.
education. It's everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everywhere. But the spell only works until you can see beyond the deception of your own perception.
Yeah.
Once I realized how I was deceiving myself, and pretty much every thought I had was incorrect and every belief I had huge holes in it, then you start to question those who are delivering that information, which forms your perception. And then the spell is broken. Not just for you.
There's no going back then.
Oh, do you know? Well, there is no going back. And I think they've overplayed their hand, Nick. I mean, how many people do you know went back for their fourth, fifth, or sixth jab?
No, my mum and dad, I tried, bless them, to stop them, but they had two, but they wouldn't go back in the end.
No, a lot of people had two and didn't go back.
Yeah.
Something changed, didn't it?
Yeah.
They stopped trusting the science.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
So don't trust your own bullshit. It don't work, does it?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we bring about change from here? That's our challenge, isn't it? We don't do it the old way, through anger and violence and resentment and lack and shortage and fear, because that will just create more of the same.
Yeah.
A revolution goes full circle.
Yeah.
We're talking about an evolution of mind here, an evolution of consciousness, and it's happening. It's happening. We have the technology now to absolutely liberate all of humanity. But it requires a shift in consciousness.
Mm.
And you know what? The more stressful it gets, the more people wake up.
Yeah.
It's actually...
I must admit, I've gone through a spell where it's been tough the last 2 years, not just because of the lockdown, but I don't know whether it's, I'd bliss for a few years or a couple of years. Then I had a lot of confusion. Now it's kind of like a bit of both, if you know what I mean. It's, yeah.
And that's the process.
Yeah.
That's the process. And quite often people, when they first start, will float around in a fluffy little dream world.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all nice. And you're watching your thoughts and you're not, it's not getting to you in the way it was. You're not entertaining those mad thoughts and the world gets much nicer. But then your vibration shifts, which means that this shadow within you can't reside in you anymore.
Mm.
So that comes to the surface, and that's really when the work starts, and that's when the real transformation takes place. It's bringing that unconscious shadow into the light of your consciousness, making that part of you that you're unaware of and bring it into your awareness. And it's only by doing that can you really sort of exercise choice and free will. It is tough. It is tough. But the tougher it gets, the faster that evolution happens. It's nature. You know, when a species is under stress, the environment changes. When there's a stressor, evolution is accelerated. And we're seeing that. I've seen in the 20 years or so I've been doing this work, the shift in evolution in mind like you wouldn't believe. It is happening now. It's not a future event. It's happening through you. Have you got to get off to work?
Well, I'm going to go home, have some lunch, and then I've got to pick up at 4 near me actually, back into London, but it's okay. Yeah, it's what it is.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this, Nick.
It's been brilliant.
It's been
we finally
really
got
helpful.
there, Aid.
We had a few goes, didn't we?
I've carried so much guilt for keep letting you down.
Oh, don't worry. There's nothing going on in here. You ain't got to worry what I'm thinking.
No, I knew that. But it's going on in here. But I'm glad we've done it.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, this is so helpful for people. You know, we're just starting out.
I hope so.
I mean, I'm sure I could show a picture of you from 2015. The transformation is unbelievable. You certainly don't have a face that does that.
No, I know. I know that. I was never doing that. No. Yeah. I'll see you. Obviously not this year, but I'll be to a retreat next year.
I'm sure you will, Nick. When we get things sorted, and I'm pretty sure it's happening.
Okay.
Well, I'll let you know. I'll let you know what's going on. All right, buddy.
Yeah, take care.
Thanks, mate.
See you later. Bye-bye.